We will start in 3, 2, 1. What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Split Screen Weekly. So today we're going to be covering a lot of Gamescom news.
Remember to hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like our content. Let us know what you want more from us in the comments down below. And let's just jump right into it. Boom.
Okay, so starting us off, we have the Xbox Gamescom stream, day 1. We're going to be starting off with Dying Light 2 Stay Human. They gave us a release date, December 7, 2021, and they also showed us a new trailer, which gave us a brief view of Villador, which is Dying Light 2's setting, and it also showcased a bit of a backstory, what's happening in the city, how and why the city came to be, the way it is. It also showcased some combat and parkour, showcased a few characters from the different factions that are in the city, a big part of the game, and it also told us that the game takes place 20 years after the first game. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I actually have played the first Dying Light. Am I excited? Not too excited, but I am looking forward to it. So moving on, we have Flight Simulator, and they went over a ton of stuff. In particular, they told us that they shattered a bunch of franchise records, saying that they've had the most players they've had. They also talked about their new upcoming free Top Gun DLC, which is to release alongside the movie. So when the movie comes out, you can expect some crispy Tom Cruise DLC. Is he a part of that movie?
He is. Expect some crispy Scientology themed airplanes.
Yes, exactly.
When this DLC drops.
And they're also launching a new world update, which is World Update 6. They're launching it next month in September. And they're updating Germany, Austria, Switzerland. They're going to be providing new airports, new country tours. And they're going to be launching something called Local Legends, which they will be showcasing different iconic planes from different times in history. And they'll also be launching a new race mode called Reno Air Race, which, Reno Air Race takes place in the United States. But it's a new challenge mode. It's a new mode where you can, race against your friends. Something that's actually new to Flight Simulator, because before it's just been a simulator, which is all it was.
Yeah. I think that's gonna be really good to getting people into Flight Simulator, because as it is, it's a very calming game. It isn't something that necessarily stimulates most gamers. They'll appreciate how it looks, but it is such a niche audience. So I think having this air race mode is gonna add a lot of fun for new players and maybe existing players that are there, and it's definitely getting me interested as this genre of game starts to grow. This whole flight, or because we had Star Wars Squadron release last year, was it? And these flight type of games, these dogfightings or just simulator games, have been really growing in popularity over the years, and it's gotten me to consider buying one of those flight sticks just to try these games. Because what I've heard about Star Wars Squadron is that it, with VR, with your own flight stick and everything, it's the most immersive you can ever feel in the Star Wars universe. It is but without that, it just feels a bit lacking.
That's fair. I've played a bit of Flight Simulator. It is a big game to download. It's 100 plus gigabytes. It's a lot of world. It's a lot of world. It looks really good, I'll say that much. I did play it with my parents, and they had a blast because my mom posted a bit of gameplay on her Facebook and all her.
Oh, she's
Facebook
a gamer.
Yeah, exactly. She posted on her Facebook, and some of her Facebook friends were like, "Oh, where are you going?" And I'm like, "There's no shot that they actually think that we're actually leaving." But it was good fun. Especially during the pandemic when we're still locked down. I think it's also nice to just fly around a bit. Just hearing the plane sounds before takeoff, I thought it was very nostalgic to an extent. So.
Well, I hope they add the Philippines and can fly over, the newly clean beaches of Boracay.
I would like to see an update to the Philippines. But yeah, that's that. Moving on, we have Humble Games X Gamepass. So they're going to be releasing, Humble Games that is, they're going to be releasing a ton of indie games towards Game Pass. And just to name them, they are Archvale, Next Space Rebels, Midnight Fight Express, Dodgeball Academia, I always screw this one up. Bushiden, Flynn, son of Crimson, Unpacking, Signalis, Unsighted, and Chinatown Detective Agency. So once again, I'm always butchering names, and this isn't anything special.
Look,
So-
look. All right, I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Bushiden and Signalis.
Signalis,
But
yes.
Signalis, I don't know. Bushiden kind of sounds like Bush and Biden fanfic,
Oh.
you know? Shout out.
Oh,
Oh.
hey, you never know. That's probably a thing.
Well, I'm gonna search
But-
it up after and see if it's a thing.
Moving on, we have Into the Pit, which is a roguelike that looks like a mix between Doom and Bioshock. It looks really good. It releases on October 9 on Game Pass. It's another indie game, and I think it actually is part of that Humble Games thing. Moving on, we have something called Stray Blade, which is an action RPG. The combat is very Dark Souls-esque, and it comes out next year.
Yeah. All I gotta say about this, honestly, is like, I touched on this, like, when we talked before, but it's just, ever since Dark Souls became this big thing, every game is trying to be a Dark Souls-esque. And it's like, it's not that Dark Souls owns that whole, like, gameplay of stamina bar, quick dodging, hard enemies, I feel like that's been a thing for a long time, and it's not that any other developers can't do that, it's just that it just feels, at least like with the minor changes in gameplay and mechanics, that it's still essentially the same, like it's Dark Souls with a different skin. And I'm just kind of tired of seeing these types of games just continually being developed. Like, it could be good for all I know, like I'm a fan of the art, but like, is the art now enough for me to justify getting another game that's similar to other games I've played in the past? That's something.
That's totally fair.
So saturation in the market for these types of games.
Moving on from Stray Blade and the whole Dark Souls thing, we got Crusader Kings 3. It's coming to Game Pass and Xbox, of course, and it's similar to Age of Empires in that it's a historical strategy game. It's a big game. People have talked about it. This is my first time actually hearing about Crusader Kings 3. I've never really heard about the game before this, so...
Yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with the game series, and Crusader Kings 2 and 3 have been met with a lot of love. I think the game itself is just very... it's so... what's the right word? It can catch you off. It's unpredictable what can happen, right? And I think that's really part of the fun of the Crusader Kings gameplay, is that like you don't know what's gonna happen to your kingdom, what can affect you, and your choices have a direct effect on how the game turns out. And I don't want to spoil any of like game elements, but I would consider, like, if you have Game Pass, I would definitely pick it up and try it out. Like, this could be a good first foray into like the whole grand strategy type of game in this genre.
We have the final piece of game news from Gamescom day one, and that is Forza Horizon 5. Probably one of the biggest, if not, I'd wager to say that this would be a little bit bigger than Halo. If things go out the way they're going right now, I feel like Forza Horizon 5 could definitely beat out Halo this year.
I tend to agree with that, because the best-selling game on the PS2 in its day was a racing game. It was Gran Turismo 4. The best-selling game of all time for the PS2 was that game. So, I mean, if you don't mind, I'm gonna gush about Forza Horizon 5 a little bit. So, first of all, they showed off a new custom Forza controller, which you thought looked like a Cyberpunk controller, because
I did, yeah.
It had the same kind of color scheme. And the trailer footage that they showed showcased a bunch of different cars traversing all the different areas in the setting there, which is it's set in Mexico, and it showed off all the different landscapes that you can drive in. So it showed off the Mercedes-AMG 1, the Ford 2021 Bronco Badlands, the Corvette Stinger, and a Porsche 911 Desert Fire, which is like a rally variation. And oh man, I don't even know where to start with this. Like, it gets me so excited seeing this type of open world, like, traversing game, because like as a PlayStation guy, like, we don't really have an equivalent to Forza Horizon, like the series. So seeing this makes me so excited for it, and it genuinely makes me want to buy an Xbox just for this game. That's how much of like an impression it's made on me. And just the environments that they have, man. Like the environments that they showed, going through the jungle, the volcano, the shoreline, coming into the city, how now, you know, the colors just change from like the desert. Like the way they designed everything looks so amazing. And you know, and Forza Horizon has never really been a disappointing series. I can't really recall a game in the series that has been, you know, met with backlash in a sense, or like a little bit of like, you know, hesitation. Like I feel like every Horizon has kind of hit it out of the park, and this is looking to hit it out of the park again. Like, to be honest, if I had a better PC, I'd get it immediately. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'm just gushing about it. I'm so excited for this game.
Yeah, man. Like, the environments do look really good. And considering that these are the same guys who'll be developing the next Fable game, I'm kind of excited for that.
Yeah.
Seeing these environments, I'm excited for that. But hearing you talk about Horizon 5 just gets me more excited for the game.
Yeah.
You know?
And you're the Xbox guy, so who knows? Maybe you maybe pick it up. I don't know if you've ever been into racing games before, but like, this isn't gonna be your standard like simulator racer. You know, like Forza's other game series, Forza Motorsport, which is supposed to come out in like 2022, late 2023
Supposedly.
maybe.
Yeah.
This is going to be just it's gonna be like GTA's driving, except all driving, and I personally enjoy that so much, because that's the part of like those open world games that I enjoy the most, is being able to drive and all the different cars. Something I really do appreciate is them putting the Ford Bronco as one of the cover cars next to the Mercedes AMG. It's really pushing for this idea that like off-roading is like a big proponent in this game. And fair enough, like almost all of the trailer footage was, you know, somewhere off-road, like in the jungle, on like the desert, you know. So
moving on from Forza Horizon 5, we're going to be moving on to Gamescom Day 2, opening night live with the hunk himself, Jett motherfucking Keely, dude. So, starting us off, we have the Saints Row Reboot, something I know Kobe's very excited about.
Yes.
I'm not sure. Are you more excited about this game than Forza?
No, I feel like I'm more feeling towards Forza, because I just have an affinity for racing. But the Saints Row Reboot, I got a couple things to say, because I've been seeing a lot of backlash about. Let's go over what they've announced first. Let's go over what they announced first before I tear apart some of the people.
Yeah. So they went over, or they showcased a CG trailer and a gameplay teaser. And they also showcased the release date, which is February 25 of 2022. They said, quote, that it is a fresh approach to Saints Row. And they also revealed who the player is. The player becomes someone known as the boss. And the boss, I'm assuming, can be controlled, or not controlled, but voiced by a few people. One of the people who voices the boss is someone known as Bryce Charles, who is in the stream. But the boss has a group of friends who are Nina, Kevin, and Eli. And as Kobe and I have discussed earlier, Nina and Kevin, shout out
in the
Heights.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. It was this new Saints Row game is, quote, all about earning your own success, and it takes place in Santa Eleso, which is an American Southwest kind of setting. So
yeah. All right. So first of all, I'm gonna go with my opinions first before I like talk about like what fans have been talking about necessarily. So I'm genuinely excited for this. I thought what they showed was really cool. I really like the setting of Santa Eleso. It's different, you know, and I think the reason why I'm so keen on it being like a reboot and completely different from how it was before is because like I played Saints Row 3 and Saints Row 4, and I feel like Saints Row 4 definitely it did everything it could do in terms of its genre of being like this really crazy, wacky kind of parody of GTA, right? Like in Saints Row 4, spoilers alert, you know, for the plot, like, you know, there's an alien invasion, you're the president of the United States. Like it's absolutely insane, and I like how they're kind of reeling it back now. Like, I'm so sure that they're going to do this reboot justice. Like, they're not going to just strip it all down and it's going to be like a GTA clone, or it's going to be like a cyberpunk-esque type of thing. I think it's still going to have everything that makes Saints Row, but just like with a new coat of paint on, right? I'm excited for that, because where else do you go from alien invasions, you're the president and you're trying to fucking save the world. Like
That's the top.
like
baby.
where would you go from that? So like
Yeah.
putting it back down to scope like this, like kind of brings it back to its roots, right? And okay, this is where I go into some of the fan backlash, right, about this trailer, because fans haven't necessarily been very happy with it. Like on both sides, people are saying it's like, oh, it looks like Fortnite. They kind of just, and I'm just like, yo, Saints Row has had this kind of aesthetic, especially like with that one faction with like the heads and everything. I think it's these newer kids that haven't played the series seeing this and being like, oh, they're copying Fortnite. You know, I don't want to sound like a fucking boomer. I don't know. I just want to say that like they've had this aesthetic since the first game. You know, they've had that like wacky, like, you know, very cartoony aesthetic with some of their characters in the game since the first game. So I think that's invalid criticism to be like, oh, it looks like Fortnite. If anything, Fortnite looks like Saints Row. That's all I gotta say about that. Now, there's another sector of fans, the people who were fans of the Saints Row franchise, saying like, why even call this like, I saw some comments like, why even call this a Saints Row game if it doesn't even look like it, you know, just call it something else. Like, oh, reboot, yeah, sure, a reboot when you're changing everything that makes Saints Row. It's like, again, it goes back to that point where it's like, where do they go if they keep escalating that? And I feel like everybody's deriving so much from the little trailer footage that we have now, like it, and you know, I don't like, maybe it's just the good faith that I have in these developers that they're not going to just balls it up and make it a GTA clone, you know. But I honestly, like, it's just disheartening to see all these people be like, oh, so negative about the game when it hasn't even had the chance to get off the ground. But interestingly, like, all the devs, you know, some of the devs have responded to some of these comments on Twitter, say, you know, basically just like not backing down. It's like, we're gonna do the reboot the way we want to, you know. It's the most Saints Row thing to do a reboot in our own way. If you guys don't like, we're sticking to it, was one of the quotes from one of the devs, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm glad to see that. I am just stunned by the backlash because I enjoyed it. My brother, who's played all the Saints Row games, is excited for it, and you know, I just think I don't want to point fingers, I don't want to like accuse people, but I think it's just a sector of fans that maybe only played the 4th Saints Row and just maybe that's where their starting point is, right? And they're expecting something to escalate further from that. Meanwhile, for a lot of the people who played the earlier games, that's like the peak point. You know, it's escalated already. You know, that's the final point in the story, and now it's time for the reboot. Because final thing is like Saints Row 3, and Saints Row 4, a lot of the characters carried over from those 2 games, right? So I think it's just gonna be a nice fresh breath, a fresh start, you know, a breath of fresh air with this reboot, new characters, new setting, and people comparing it to, like, you know, I would say it's more like, it feels more like a Cyberpunk, to be honest, in terms of like the setting and like probably like how it looks, more so than a GTA even. So yeah, I don't know. That's my 2 cents. I'm annoyed with the backlash. I don't get it. So
yeah, you know, I think reboots are a bit tricky in that you're dealing with a fan base that's already been established, and if you mess with their kind of image of their game and like of their initial image of the game, then it gets muddy.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know.
Yeah.
I hope it turns out to be a good game. You know, from what I've seen, it looks like a Saints Row game. I've never played Saints Row like extensively, but from what I've seen and from the bit I've played, you know, it's Saints Row. I can't, you know.
Yeah, and if like they want something else, just play the earlier games. I don't see what's stopping them from playing those games. Like, they're great games and they have replayability. I don't see what necessarily the problem is. Like, yeah, I don't want to I'm going heated.
Yeah, you're good.
There's another thing later on that I'm gonna get heated about for sure. So we'll get there when we get there.
We have Call of Duty Vanguard, another Call of Duty game. I am getting really numb to just hearing Call of Duty in general. Like, I hear it and I'm just whatever. But that being said, this is a Call of Duty game. You know, it checks every fucking
tick box
thing off the. every tick box of any Call of Duty game ever. They say it's a new take on World War II. It tells the story of the birth of the Special Forces. The campaign is from the perspective of a Russian sniper whose name is Polina. And they also showcased a few minutes of gameplay from the campaign, and it's very Call of Duty in that, huge set pieces, lots of fire, lots of guns, lots of planes, lots of blimps or whatever. The game comes out November 5.
Yeah, so. How many times can they retell the story of World War II is like my question here. We talk about saturation in the market, like Call of Duty have saturated their own franchise with just the endless amount of games, but people buy it. So, what's stopping them from making more, right? If people are still gonna buy every new one, right? I mean, I understand why people enjoy it. They are leagues and bounds beyond like all smaller companies who try to make the same thing. But God, yes, another Call of Duty. Maybe I've never been into it that I don't get it, but there you go, another one.
Yeah, last Call of Duty I played, I think, like extensively was Infinite Warfare? Yeah, I don't even remember. So it is what it is. Moving on from Call of Duty Vanguard, we have Halo Infinite. They didn't show much. They just showed a CG trailer of the first season for multiplayer, kind of set the tone for it. They also gave us a final release date of December 8th, 2021, and they also showcased a special edition console that goes for $550 and an Elite Controller version 2 for $250, and I will say that both of these things look significantly better than the free guy Xbox.
No.
Okay,
I think the free guy controller should be $300 US. I think it's that worth of a product, to be honest. And that console with the fishbowl, who can forget?
Oh my God.
I'm gonna have pictures of it on my wall next time we record.
And we have Midnight Fight Express, which is an isometric top-down kind of fighter. It is being developed by one guy, which is
nuts, dude. One guy developing the whole thing.
Actually nuts. It comes out summer 2022, so if you want to try that out,
I believe that's coming out on Gamepass.
Oh, you probably are right. Yeah, or I don't know.
Yep, so. It's part of Humble Games.
Midnight Fight Express. Okay. Yep. Okay, we have Riders Republic. So this is a huge kind of multiplayer game. It's also open world. And in Gamescom, they showcased a gameplay trailer, which showed some maps, some game modes. And like I said, they also showcased some multiplayer. And they also talked about a free roam mode, which is open world and takes place in some national parks around the United States. They also revealed some of the characters who are a part of the game and the story. And they also announced a beta that is now over, by the way, so maybe not worth talking about it, but we're here now. Yeah.
I was just gonna say I'm excited for this game. The MMO aspect seems really interesting, and I don't know. Like, I remember you likened it to SSX Tricky.
Yeah. Yes, that's right.
And yeah, I don't know if there's been like a really good standout type of snowboarding, skiing, off-roading type of game like that. Like, cause you're able to have that choice. You want to bike down a mountain, you want to ski down the mountain, you want to paraglide down the mountain. It's interesting. It's an interesting concept. I feel like the whole idea that like you're just racing down to the bottom, but you can like clip into people, there's no contact, reminds me of how they operate Trackmania, and how they do that is purely just a time setting thing, and you just run in a server with a bunch of other people trying to set times, and that's popular enough now. I feel like this will get a lot of eyes on Riders Republic.
We have a game that will certainly spark up a bit of conversation from the man himself, Kobe Santos.
Yeah.
We have UFL. Now this is different. It is a football game, but it is different from FIFA in that it is a free-to-play football game. It is a live service game and will be available on all platforms. That's what they said. They haven't given out an official release date, but Kobe, take it away.
Yeah, I fucking hope this kills FIFA, okay? This is why. Let me get on my soapbox real quick.
Okay. Let's go. Yeah.
I think it's absolutely absurd that FIFA, still manages to rake in these fucking sheeple to buy their $60, now $70 games every year and still have the gall to put microtransactions in their game. I think the UFL, this game is gonna follow a proper free-to-play format, or a proper, system, because I think the way FIFA does it is so predatory, because you're paying a full-priced game just so you can spend more if you want to. Like, I mean, like, obviously the choice is down to the player if they want to spend money, but the fact that, like, to even get to that point where you want to spend money, you have to spend an entry-level fee of 60 to 70 bucks now, and the fact that every year they're releasing the same game, essentially. It's so absurd that you're charging people a full game price for last year's game, just with things shuffled around. I don't know why they can't just patch shit like that, right? Which is why I think the UFL is just infinitely better. I'm sure it's gonna fall, since it's free to play, it's definitely gonna have microtransactions. That's how they're gonna make their money. But I feel like that's way better, because the entry to play is 0. So I wouldn't feel bad about spending more money on the game because I didn't have to pay for it initially. It's how all gachas work. FIFA has managed to find a way to be a gacha that you have to pay for to play. Like, how? How? I think it's so stupid, and I hope, and obviously the UFL could be a bust, and like it could be completely unplayable, a la Star Wars Battlefield.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely right.
when their whole thing with the loot system was absolutely trash, and like it was making you pay. If it's something like that, then I'm sure it won't go down well. But I also don't think, even if it is to that point where it doesn't feel as playable if you don't spend money, it's not going to be as hard of a backlash, because it's fucking free. You'll just uninstall it. You won't feel bad about uninstalling it because you didn't drop 60 bucks on it. Oh my god, I fucking hate all these sports games that come out every year and ask for fucking microtransactions if you want to get more stuff in the game that you should already have because you paid 60 bucks for. It's
going up to 70.
Going up to 70. How? Why? 70 bucks for a game, I'm fine with paying for if it's a game like God of War or some shit like that with like a lot of content, and you can see the efforts there. You see all the work of all the developers poured into this game. I would feel honored to spend my 70 bucks for those people. But not for a fucking sports game that they're just gonna re-release next year with the same fucking shit. Okay, yeah, that's all I'll say. I hope UFL succeeds really hard, because fuck FIFA.
Yeah, FIFA's economic practices, business practices are very suspect. I'll say that
EA,
much.
In general.
EA, the company themselves. Moving on from UFL and the disaster that is FIFA, we have Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. Kind of excited for this game just because it brings back a lot of childhood memories. I did play the original Lego Star Wars Skywalker trilogy, and I always forced my brother to play those. So for the Skywalker Saga, they will be releasing all 9 Lego Star Wars games, and you'll be able to play them all in one game, or one download, one disc, whatever way you want to buy it. And it comes out spring 2022. So look out for that.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it. I love Star Wars. I love Lego. It's like a match made in heaven. And Lego games are fucking great, man.
They hit hard, Like they do. They
even
really
to
do.
this day, they're still one of the best like collectathon type of games. And like, yeah, it's not just a collectathon anymore. It's like, there's combat in most of them. So, yeah. Pick up the Lego games. They're great. Fucking great.
If you guys want to see us play Lego Star Wars or any other game for that matter, let us know in the comments below, and we might grant you your wish or whatever.
If you sub and if you donate to our Patreon, which we'll create eventually. If you want to donate, we'll create a Patreon just for you to donate.
Planet, we have Outlast Trials. Now, everybody knows who or what Outlast is. If you don't, it is a horror game, but Outlast Trials will be different in that it's a survival horror game. It takes place during the Cold War. And it's also multiplayer. You either get to choose to do it solo, or you can play with 3 others in multiplayer. And it launches in 2022, and they also showcase a little bit of a gameplay trailer.
Yeah.
And it was.
I mean,
it was fun.
I'm keen on playing this with friends. Like, I played The Forest, this indie game, a horror indie game, with a couple of friends a few years back, and that was a lot of fun. We sunk maybe like a week of our time into it, and if it is anything like that, I'm gonna assume it's gonna be better. It's Outlast, right? So it's I'm pretty keen on getting it. If you viewers want to see us shit our pants on video,
Yeah.
hit a like.
Buy our OnlyFans.
Oh.
No. Yeah. No, what's it called? I believe it's nothing like The Forest. It's like Dead by Daylight.
Okay. Oh yeah, I still think
Yeah.
that it'll still be a fun multiplayer experience then.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving on from Outlast Trials, we have a game that Kobe is looking forward to more than I am. But that being said, I'm still interested in the game, and that is DokeV. They showcased the gameplay trailer, and I'll have Kobe just take it away from here.
All right, so it's essentially a Pokemon-esque type of game where you have, you collect monsters and you battle with them. What's different is that it's an open world MMO, and the environment isn't like a fantasy world. It's like a modern day city, and does it look amazing! And the whole idea that you're just walking around this vast cityscape, and you can traverse it whatever way you want. Like these skateboards, there's like so many different ways of transportation. They have a similar mechanic as Monster Hunter Rise, where you have like a little thing you can like grapple onto and then like swing. I think and it just looks amazing. I think the game looks absolutely amazing. It's by the creators of Black Desert, which is a very popular MMO, and that's really successful. And so I think it's okay to have some expectations for these developers, because they knocked it out of the park, in my opinion, with Black Desert as an MMO, and this is a completely different look to Black Desert. I was actually watching a feature with some of the developers, and they were saying like we wanted to create a game that you could play with your kids, or like the family could play it together. Something everybody can get into, and it being some similar to Pokemon and very cartoony. Like the characters are super cartoony, but like the environments are super realistic. So that contrast for me is like super cool to look at. And like you have these battles against these monsters just like in the middle of the street, and they would all like I would also trust that these developers know how to do the combat well, because they know how to do fast-paced MMO combat already with Black Desert. So yeah, there's a lot of hype for this game. It came out of nowhere, to be honest. Like, no, I don't think anyone was expecting this, and now it's definitely on my radar for release dates. So I'll say.
Absolutely. The cartoony style of the game really hooked me in, actually. I think, considering that the games that are coming out have been very heavy in terms of their tone and their whole mood and aesthetic. DokeV is actually very fresh to look at. Like it's refreshing, and that's what attracted me the most. And I think it's also nice to just roam around a city. And yeah, I just thought it looked very charming. Not unlike the fucking Free Guy console or the controller for that matter. But moving on from DokeV, we have a theme park simulator game, and that is Jurassic World Evolution 2, something I know Kobe has actually played before. And yeah, they showcased some gameplay footage, and it looks good. It looks like a Jurassic World Evolution game.
Yeah,
so.
I played the first one because it was free on Epic Games, so I picked it up. And yeah, I sunk maybe a good 40-something hours in the first week of me having it. It sinks you in. It definitely does. And I do love the idea of owning your own Jurassic Park, essentially. Yeah, and like the features it has in terms of like, breeding the dinos and finding the fossils for it, being able to go into a Jeep, first person hand, and just drive around your park. You can interact with your dinosaurs inside of the enclosures in the Jeep or the helicopter if you need to like trank them, airlift them for medical support or whatever, or pick up a dead body if they've died of old age, right? So like, you know, it's cool. Like I've definitely been rammed by a triceratops in a Jeep. So
On from Jurassic World Evolution 2, we have Far Cry 6. Now this is a game that I'm actually looking forward to. There will be a world premiere. They revealed a world premiere story trailer, and the game comes out on October 7, 2021. Not much else to say there. It is a huge game, so if you're looking forward to that, check it out when it comes out. After Far Cry 6, there is Vampire the Masquerade Bloodhunt. They just revealed a trailer for Gamescom. They introduced one of the clans in the game and its traits. The game is a battle royale, another saturated kind of game genre, and you get to play as different clans, and each clan has its own traits. And they also provided early access on Steam, which comes out on December 7th. Moving on from go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I was just gonna say that it's unfortunate that it's another battle royale game, but it is nice to see Vampire the Masquerade get another like type of action game, because the last couple of games in the series have been visual novels, so it's nice to see a little more action with it.
We have Jett the Far Shore. This is a space adventure game. They showcased a gameplay trailer. They showcased some bits of story, and it comes out October 5, 2021 for PlayStation. I will say that this game really lured me in with its art direction, the aesthetic, and just the whole tone of the game. I thought it looked very relaxing. It looked like a game that I could just really just sink my teeth into and just relax. So
I think that's what it's going for, to be honest. I don't think it's supposed to be a highly stimulating game.
Absolutely. Moving on from Jett the Far Shore, we have Horizon Forbidden West. They gave some updates. In particular, the devs gave some updates on where they are in terms of development. They just entered the final stage of development. They're focusing on keeping their team safe during the pandemic, and the game comes out February 18, 2022. Pre-orders start second week of December. They also announced a 60 FPS patch for Horizon Zero Dawn for the PS5. So if you're into that, there you go.
Yeah, I just want to shout out the developers for wanting to keep their team safe and them focusing on that. I feel like, you know, a lot of these game companies don't necessarily treat their workers with a lot of respect. So it's nice to see that they're doing that for their people.
It is very nice to see, yes. Moving on from Horizon Forbidden West, we have New World, which is a new MMORPG, and they showcased a bit of gameplay with bits of story in it, and they also announced an open beta that runs from September 9th to 12th, and they also announced their final release date, which is September 28th, 2021 on Steam. So the beta and the final release date, very close. I don't think I've ever seen this before, but you know,
I think maybe it's just a final way to see if people can break the game a little more, just find a little bit of the kinks, you know, and knock that out. But yeah, I mean, it's cool. MMORPG. I've seen some people really get into it, so we'll see how it goes. I don't know if it's gonna be like my cup of tea in terms of an MMORPG, because I prefer my RPGs to be like very
We have a Tales game, Tales of Arise, and this was a big surprise to me, but Tales of Arise actually marks the 25th anniversary of the series, and for Gamescom they showcased a live performance of a song from the game / the series, alongside shots of the environments within Tales of Arise, and they also they also, you know, showcased that the demo is out now for Xbox and PlayStation, so try that out when you can.
Play the demo.
Really
Play the demo. It's a great game. I'm so excited for it. It's been on my radar since they first announced it a couple years back. So my fingers are ready.
No.
Sounds bad, but I'm ready to play that. I'm ready to play Tales of Arise. I've played a bunch of the previous Tales games, so and the way this one plays, it's just so nice. It's just so good.
We have Lost Judgement, and they showcased a gameplay trailer. I believe this is the second game in the Judgement series, and from what I've seen, it looks good. It looks good.
It looks amazing. The story hooked me in from like minute one of the story trailer and gameplay trailer. So what my brother had told me was, because he played the first game, it's also made by the same guys who make Yakuza. The Yakuza series. So, and it's similar in gameplay to that. So, I don't know. I'm so interested in this game. I've never heard of the game before. I didn't hear about the game previous in the series, but just seeing this trailer has gotten me so hooked on playing out the story they have presented. You know, figuring out this mystery. So
Yeah. And from what I've heard, it's also possibly the last Judgement game in the series, just because there's a bit of beef between the agency of the main voice actor and the developers behind the game, and the distribution. Like the agency is like, you can't, like, this is us, this is our thing. But that's besides the point. Moving on from Lost Judgment, we have a game from Deadmau5, or as he calls himself, apparently Deadmau5. And here I am calling him Deadmau5. It's a mouthful. I'm just gonna stick to Deadmau5, I'll be honest. But then,
how do you pronounce this game's
so
name?
it's pronounced Oberhasli, but it has a 3 in there and it also has a 1. So if you want to take those into consideration, it's Ob3 Hassle 1. So it is a game that's coming to the core platform, which is out on Epic, so you can download the whole core platform.
I'm getting a headache looking at that name.
It is. My eyes hurt. But yeah, so if you want to try out Oberhasli, you can play it on core. And the whole point of Oberhasli is to be an interactive concert experience. It's supposed to be in line with things that happen in the real world. So if there's a concert happening wherever the fuck Deadmau5 is, then you can experience it over as well.
Nah, he's going to H311 for all this fucking shit, dude. I swear to God. Can I get a B00B5 right now?
Or we have Valheim. They are releasing a DLC called Hearth and Home. They showcased an animated trailer, and when they say animated trailer, it's just anime, so it looked really good.
Yeah.
And Hearth and Home will be focused around base building and kind of that whole homey kind of vibe, so cooking and things of that nature. So moving on from Valheim, we have Crossfire X. Now this is a Korean FPS game that is just now moving over to the West. They showcased a gameplay trailer during Gamescom, and they only showcased multiplayer. As far as I know, Remedy Games, the guys behind Control, have actually finished up already the campaign for Crossfire X. So hopefully they reveal some stuff about that, but I'm looking forward to this. It looks like a good game. Yeah, moving on from Crossfire X, we have Genshin Impact. And so they have some really good news here. Kobe, if you want to take this one.
All right, so first off, they showcased their recent collaboration with Horizon Zero Dawn. They showed off Aloy in her gameplay trailer, as she is coming to the game on September 1st, 2021, and is unlockable first by PS5 and PS4 players. And it comes along with her PlayStation exclusive bow weapon. So that's something that was really big, a big shock to the community, because nobody was really expecting this to happen at all. And something else that's coming up on September 1st is the new patch. The new 2.1 patch coming out will feature fishing as a new feature, 3 new characters, 2 new islands to explore. I sound like I'm trying to sell this game right now, but I am. I do love the game, and I think it's going to be a very exciting time in 2 days because we're recording this on the 30th of August, so pretty exciting, as well as a Genshin concert that they announced to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of Genshin Impact, which will be a live performance of some of the songs in Genshin Impact playing through the soundtrack with an orchestra, rather. And it arrives on October 3, 2021, only roughly 5 days after the game was officially launched on September 28 or 27, I forget. 28 or 27 last year. I'm excited. I've played every day. I've played every day since that launch. I have not missed a single day. I'm a big fan of Genshin.
It blows my mind how long the game has been out and the sheer audience that it's amassed. Like, it's so many people, and the people who are playing it just love it. You know?
Oh yeah. And what I find really interesting, for a free-to-play game, they're probably making more money than most AAA games, to be honest, just because of these whales spending like mother loads of cash like per banner. and yeah, just like, but with that funds, they're trying these projects like this Genshin concert that they're having, like the Philharmonic orchestras do. I think it's so amazing, like the effort they've put into every aspect of the game, like the music, especially coming from a guy who's taking up music in college, right? Like seeing the effort that they're putting into just creating the music and the lengths that they're going to for composing and actually seeing the vision through, it's actually so admirable to see them, because you know they're just a free game. It's just a free game. They're just they don't need to do any of this stuff, but you know, here they are doing it, and I like to see it. You know, I love to see it. I love Genshin Impact. I heart it.
Fair enough. Moving on from the love of Kobe's life, Genshin Impact, we have Sifu. They showcased a sneak peek.
I'm gonna see
you. There you go. They showcased a sneak peek. It is a third-person fighting game. I don't know exactly what to relate this to. I put Naruto Shippuden, but it's not. I don't think that's good.
No, I would put it more in the vein of just like those movie tie-in games, from like the 2000s, where you're just walking around and you just beat them up. It is a martial arts based like beat 'em up. Like doesn't seem to be any like guns. It's mostly hand-to-hand combat, and yeah, that's why it reminds me more of like a, you know, your third person. It's more kind of like a GTA except without the guns, you know, in a way, because you're walking through environments and you're just beating up. It, at least from the gameplay trailer that they showed. Yeah.
And it comes out February 22 of 2022 for PlayStation. So check that out if you have PlayStation, and check it out when you can. And our last piece of game news for Gamescom Stream Day 2 is Death Stranding Director's Cut. I wasn't actually expecting this, considering the Death Stranding Director's Cut had already been announced previously. But they did give us an extended look at the game. They talked about how it was upgraded for the PS5. And in terms of the extended look, they talked about how they are adding new delivery support for cargo, in particular cannon and thrusters. They're also adding new facilities. They're adding a combat training facility. They also talked about how that as when you progress through the game, you will be able to unlock new missions and weapons, and you'll also be able to revisit boss battles anytime via your private room. And they're also introducing new missions, in particular delivery missions. They also will be introducing, quote, new fun, which will feature jump ramps and a new racetrack. And this Death Stranding Director's Cut will be available September 24, 2021. So that's really soon.
Yeah, I mean, it's just interesting how, you know, we had Ghost of Tsushima's Director's Cut, now we have Death Stranding's Director's Cut. Is this like the new Game of the Year edition? You know, it's interesting how the verbiage of this, you know, it sounds so grandiose calling it the Director's Cut, you know, but yeah, whatever. More content's more content, I guess.
It is. So that'll do it for this video on Gamescom coverage. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Please be sure to like and subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell. Hit the bell, please.
Feed that algorithm. Help us get to 100 subscribers. You know, we're trying to get this channel to grow, and we would really like it if you enjoyed our content, if you supported us, so we feel more incentivized to keep putting out our content for you guys. Like, we're still gonna do it, but seeing your likes, your subscribes, your comments even is complete validation for us to know that, you know, we're at least entertaining some people or providing some kind of information to people. So
please, my entire existence relies on likes and the fucking comments, so please.
Exactly. If you watch to the end of the video, comment down below. Comment Benjo and Kobe are so damn cool.
Comment FIFA
that.
sucks. No.
Comment FIFA sucks in the comment section below if you got this far.
Exactly.
Thank you. We'll see you next time.